Hey guys, I'm your host, Chelsea Smith, and on this show, we talk about everything and anything. No rules, and we like to keep it raw. We also like to sample beverages. Don't mind if we do.
I'm gonna wanna get crazy. Be anything but behave like you do. Make you.
Okay, welcome back to Don't Mind If We Do. I have a special guest here, Janis Carmina. Hello and welcome.
Hello, everybody, and don't mind if I do either.
Yeah, don't mind if you do. Show up for this in your pajamas. Are you in your pajamas? You're not. I am. And I forgot to tell you to also come in your pajamas, but that's okay.
My goal in life these days is just to get dressed in the morning, so I figure I met one today.
You certainly did.
I actually put a bra on even. Like, this is like big for me.
That was huge.
I know.
I should feel special.
Underwear, well, that's just something we won't talk about.
It's on a need-to-know basis.
Yes.
Good. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, that's a good start. So today we're not sampling any alcoholic beverages. Janis has brought her own Tim Hortons tea. It's very Canadian.
I'm very addicted to it.
Are you?
Steep tea, 2.5 milk, no sugar. It's a bit, if I was actually living on shore, I'd probably have 3 to 4 of these a day.
3 to 4 a day.
And not just because it's roll up the rim time,
It doesn't look like roll up the rim.
but it is roll up the rim.
Is it?
Yeah.
Under there?
No.
No.
It's just roll up the rim time. I think they probably ran out of the cups.
You have to move closer to your mic.
Oh, there you go. You know what? There
There you
has
go.
been an issue with the Tim Hortons.
What?
I'm going to
That
bitch
it's
just
Tim
a little
Hortons?
bit. No. So they got these new lids
Yeah.
that are a bit higher,
Okay.
and they tend to put a magic marker there right in the middle of the can of leaf.
Yeah.
And I drink. I end up having this black dot on my nose for the rest of the day. And I actually did a YouTube video with a black dot on my nose interviewing someone, and they never told me. I'm like, did you seriously not tell me that I had black poop on my nose the whole time? He laughed. I'm
Did
like,
he notice?
it was a guy, first of all. If it was a girl, definitely would have
said
told me. This was a guy. You know.
Okay. That is
But yeah,
it's
it's an issue with the Tim Hortons noob.
because it's shiny plastic versus
Yep.
the Starbucks one where the black
Exactly.
sinks into the...
I'm not classy
Plastic.
enough for Starbucks. Sorry.
That's okay. No apologies needed.
Yeah. Just not there yet.
No, maybe they don't have good steep tea.
I don't think they have steep tea at all.
Well, there you go. It's very un-Canadian
Very un-Canadian.
of me to drink Starbucks, but that's okay. That's okay. So you asked what this book is, and it is something new that I'm starting. Not the book. It's not my book.
Well, let me explain first. I
Okay.
came in, and on her table is this book called Life is a Verb. And I'm like, I got a little bit scared. I felt like I was back in high school. I'm like, she's going to ask me about verbs, adjectives, nouns, pronouns, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh, it's been a long
an
time
English
since
test.
grade 9 English, girl.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Okay.
What is a verb?
I wish you guys could see my face right now because I'm like, did she
It's
seriously just
stunned.
ask me that?
And I'm thinking in my head, like, if you answered, would I be able to confirm or deny? I don't know.
It's an action word.
Is it? I thought that was an adjective.
No, an adjective, a descriptive.
Describing.
I know.
Okay, this is not an English test.
It's a simile and a metaphor. Ooh, okay. Now we're going way out there.
It's too deep. It's too early.
Yes. Okay, what is this?
Okay, so this is just a very cool book. I talked about it in the last episode. And it is a book of quotes. And it's 37 Days to Wake Up, Be Mindful, and Live Intentionally.
Nice.
It's one of my favorite books because it's not a lot of reading. So it's a
What
good
are you-
book.
Okay, but
Yeah.
you're using
I
a Tim Hortons hot chocolate as a bookmark.
I am. Yes.
That's quite ironic, actually.
That is ironic. But it goes to show you how much I drink Tim Hortons. I don't, and I use them as bookmarks. So if you would like this Tim Hortons hot chocolate packet, you can have it.
That's quite fun.
I don't know how
But
old
then
it
you'll
is.
lose your space in your
It
verb.
just expired in January. So I've probably
Okay.
had it for a couple of years.
Are we
But-
doing a quote? What are we doing?
Yeah, so I'm just choosing a quote at the beginning of every episode just because I like quotes and they're cool.
Quotes are good.
And I'm cool and you're cool.
And we're all
So
cool.
We're all cool.
Is cool a noun,
It's cool to
verb,
be
or
cool.
adjective?
This was not an English test.
Okay.
That's a describing word. So it's an adjective. Yes. 1 point for me. Okay. So I found this quote today from Samuel Johnson, which is funny because I actually read that earlier as Samuel L. Jackson. It's not at all.
Now I've got his voice in my head.
Wow. Okay,
Okay.
read it. I'll read it in his voice. No, I won't. So, kindness is in our power, even when fondness is not. from Samuel L. Jackson.
Okay, say that once more.
Okay. Kindness is in our power, even when fondness is not. So I may not like you, but I'm going to be kind to you because that is in my power to do.
But I may just not like you and I have no control whether I like you or not.
That's your
or
choice.
fond of you.
That's your choice. If you don't want to be kind to me.
But
it is
but being
in your
fond of
power.
you is not in my power. Like, I may just,
Even if it's not. Like, you should be fond of me.
you think.
I hope. Why would you be here
But
if you
if
weren't?
that quote is right, it
Yeah.
means I can't control whether I'm fond of you or not.
No, it says even when it is not. So sometimes it's not. I am not fond of one person. I can't control that. I can't. And I can barely be kind, actually, to that person. So, but it is in my power to be kind.
Yes, to be
But
the bigger
I
person.
choose, well, I'm definitely the bigger person, but I choose to be as kind as I can, but it's not super kind. I can work on that. Samuel. Thanks, Samuel Johnson.
That was big when I was a police officer. Well, I'm still a police officer, but that was
Yeah,
a big thing,
let's
right?
talk about that.
You had to be kind to people.
Yeah, you can't be a jerk.
No, you
Even
get
if-
way more flies with honey than with vinegar, man.
Totally. Even if they're
Yeah.
being assholes and not nice.
Yes, you have to be
have
kind
to
to
be
them.
kind.
Not fond of them.
No. See? So Samuel, he knows.
Yeah, that's a good quote. I like it.
it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for playing along with me.
It's good.
And my quotes. Okay, so let's go back to that. So Janis is somebody that I met, I think we're going on like 4 years now, because there was 2 in COVID that I haven't seen you. So it's a
You
good
haven't seen me in
4.
lingerie yet, but you did do some
It's
headshots
true.
for me.
That's true.
But yeah, it's
Didn't
been
get
about
you
4
naked,
years.
but
No nakedness.
no naked. But we
No.
had Starbucks, which is now funny to come out that you don't drink Starbucks. Why did we do them at Starbucks? Because I like Starbucks.
They had the best patio. Tim Hortons
did.
didn't have a patio, so we did headshots at Starbucks,
True.
and I had my laptop out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Fun. Okay, so yeah,
No,
I met
4
you
years.
4 years ago at an Ewomen Networking event. We were both in Ewomen together. And when I first met you, I was introduced to you as what you were doing in Ewomen. So you were selling,
on Amazon.
what is the word?
We use
E-commerce. You
e-com. Yeah.
had an e-commerce business, and you sold these very cool metal straws, the unicorn ones. Like, just you had a great e-commerce business.
Yeah, it was fun.
So fun.
A side gig.
Yeah, but I didn't know that it was your side gig. And so
Ah.
I think like a good year in, or half a year in at least. And then I found out that you are actually a police officer.
I don't usually tell people right away that I'm a police officer because then I get the questions or the bitches,
Oh,
the bitching.
really?
I can't believe that one time I was driving and this cop stopped me and I'm just like, okay, well, I don't. Yeah, I always get the stories. And usually it's like a negative
Yeah.
interaction they had, or they're going to ask me a silly question. So if I take a right turn and can the other person opposite me take a left turn into a 2-lane road?
Oh, my word.
And so I don't usually tell people. It's like if I see people on the road,
It's ridiculous.
I'm walking past people also, and I recognize them. I don't usually ask them where I know them from because I never know whether it's a good interaction or a bad
yes.
interaction because I can't
Right.
remember. 18 years, I've met a lot of people in
Yeah.
policing, right? So
And
I'm
arrested probably a
like, have
lot.
I put handcuffs on them in a good way or a bad way?
Right. Ooh. And did we video it?
So yes, I don't
Okay.
usually tell people, but yeah.
I don't know.
We
how
got
it
to that
came
stage
out.
in our relationship
We just got
where
that
I disclosed it.
And did I ask you a stupid question?
I can't remember.
I don't think so.
No.
It seems like a silly thing to do.
Some people will actually stop talking to me.
Oh, because
Mm-hmm.
they're guilty.
Or they just are a bit scared. Yeah. Especially if I'm at a party or something, I won't say it because, if
Oh,
marijuana
right.
comes out or something like that,
Right. Isn't that legal now?
it is legal. But I used to have to leave the party.
Right. Because you don't want to be associated with
Yeah,
the
exactly.
marijuanaers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was, policing's interesting.
And one of your e-commerce things was a bag to conceal the smell of marijuana. Was it?
Because I hate the smell of marijuana.
It's disgusting.
Oh, it's
The
fresh
worst. It's
marijuana.
like a
It's
skunk.
just that, yeah.
Skunk
So
smell.
I started a brand line called No Trace Bags, lined
Yeah.
with carbon, so that people could put their marijuana on there and it didn't offend me. Really, it was a selfish product
That's
line.
amazing. Yeah.
Yes. But no, I was a police officer 18 years with Saanich. And it's actually, I'm still a police officer. It's just recently that I've been diagnosed with PTSD. So I've been off of work for a year
For 1 year.
so far. Yeah.
And is that, did you want to talk about that or is that private?
No, it's not private. I'm quite open about it.
Is that something that just came up from a recent reason or from 18 years of shit?
I think it's 18 years of shit.
Yeah.
It's been cumulative. People have said, and this is weird, somebody actually called me an empath once,
Yeah.
right? And I can see how, I don't really like that term or anything, but I'm very much a person that I take on everybody else's emotions. And so through policing,
Right.
it's you're taking on
A
everybody's
lot.
emotion because I'm meeting them at the worst time in their life.
Right.
And I'm trying to help them through that. And it's just, yeah, they're taking a piece of me every time.
Because
So-
you're showing kindness even when you're not fond of them.
Exactly. So, yeah, it's
So
a
it just
tough
got
one.
to be a bit much.
It just started piling up, and there were
much.
some really big incidents, right? I had once where I was at the front desk of the police department, and I was only like 4 years on. I was so keen. I was like, woohoo, life is awesome. I still don't think I'm a jaded police officer,
Yeah.
right? I try to, everybody's equal. Just somebody made a better choice or a bad choice and a different choice than I would, which made our paths cross.
Right.
So I was at the front desk of the police department, and I looked up and I saw this guy come in. And we had no plexiglass then, right?
Yeah.
And so 2008, I saw this guy walk in, and I'm like, I can still see him, right? With the gray hair. He's got a long gray ponytail, and he walks up, and I'm like, woohoo, nice and keen. Customer service, right? I come out from behind the front desk. I'm like, hey, welcome to the Sandwich Police Department. How can I help you? And then everything just slowed down, slow motion. And
I just got goosebumps.
yeah, I could still like put myself there and smell and hear everything. But he took his left hand and he reached for his front of his shirt. And I'm doing it right now because I always act it out when I talk about the story. And it's only recently I've been able to say this story out loud. I'll tell you why after.
Okay.
But he reached for his front of his shirt and he lifted it up. And then his right hand, I saw something black, and his right hand grabbed the butt of a gun. And he pulled it out, and it was just slow motion right into my face.
Oh my God.
And I remember looking at it, and then I almost separated from my body. Like, I was there, but I was also up there yelling at myself, going, like, dive, Janis, do something, get out of the way, right? Pull your own gun. But I couldn't. I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm not trained for this. So I was having a conversation with myself through it all. And really, seriously, this was a 10-second interaction, but it was so slow in my head on
felt
what
way
I should
longer.
do. Totally felt longer. And I just remember standing there with this stupid ass grin on my face, right? Because I'm like, hey, welcome to Sandwich Police Department. How can I help you? And suddenly I've got a gun in my face, and I just couldn't register it. And then he takes the gun, and I can see his face and this stupid grin on his face too. And he just slams it down on the counter in front of me.
Oh my word.
And that kind of broke what was happening.
Yeah.
And I kind of joined myself again. And I put my hand out. I put my hand on the gun. And he starts laughing. And this laugh, I can't even describe it. He tilts his head back, and I see his gray ponytail going down the back of his neck. And he's like, ha, 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 ha. Right? And I was like, where the hell do you get off doing that to me and taking that control? Right?
Yeah.
But I reached for the gun, I grabbed it, and it ended up to be a fake gun, but you can't tell. It ended up to be a pellet gun,
Really?
right? No clue. And he's like, I just want to turn this in. And I still didn't really know what to do. All I remember is taking it and going, well, thank you so much. I'm so glad you brought it in today. Thanking him
Oh my
for
gosh.
pointing a gun in my face. And then taking it to my staff, then he leaves, right? I'm still like, what the hell just happened? And I remember taking it to my staff sergeant right there and explaining what just happened, right? Because I still didn't know if I was reacting properly,
Yeah.
right? And my staff sergeant laughed and he went, oh, that's okay. That's just Sid. But I was like, it wasn't until recently. So that was in 2008. Back then, my son was, let me see if I get this right. My daughter was 1 year old.
Oh.
So I had a 12-month-old at home.
Yeah.
My son was 5. And I did not think I was going home that night to home. Like, I wasn't going
your
to be
babies.
hugging, to my babies.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to be hugging my kids. Because you remember, I'm still a mom, right?
Yeah.
So I wasn't going home after that incident. That's what it felt like in that
Yeah.
moment. And it wasn't till, this is one of the instances I can talk about because after being diagnosed with PTSD, I went to Wounded Warriors, where you did your retreat, which is quite ironic.
Oh, in Souk?
In Souk,
Oh,
yeah, the
nice.
Prestige Hotel.
Yeah.
And
they at
Yeah.
the same time.
no, I wasn't there at the same time as you.
Okay. I'm pretty sure they actually had
They do usually.
It was-
in the same room.
yeah,
Yeah, downstairs
right
there.
beside us.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was the only time I was able to, it took 4 days to work through that story and to be able to tell it out loud. And it was really interesting as I was telling it out loud in the Wounded Warriors circle that I got so mad. I was like, Jesus fucking sorry.
Oh, you
I was
can
like,
swear on here.
fucking, I can't believe that guy took that control away from me.
Yeah.
I was mad. And it's the first time that anger ever came up when I thought about it. Because really when I kept thinking about it, this was 2008, I think. I felt guilty. I felt like I didn't do something right.
Because you froze.
I don't
Just
even
'cause you
know
didn't
if I
know.
froze because it happened so fast, right?
Felt like you froze.
Yeah. But I didn't know if I was doing, it was just a weird thing. And it wasn't until Wounded Warriors helps you talk through those traumatic incidences
Right.
and you're able to rewrite your story that it's not your fault,
Right.
right? I can't take that blame, that I'm able to talk about it here with you, an incident like that. I never was, because I was like, I'd say a bit embarrassed. Plus, I had taken that incident and I put it up in my shoebox and I didn't want to touch it anymore, right? I didn't want that feeling of that I wasn't good enough police officer.
Right.
So, so that was Wounded Warriors. But I'm working my way through incidents like that, right? And it's cumulative. Like that's, like they say the average police officer goes through 800 traumatic events in their career,
Yeah.
right? Events like that.
And what the hell is Sid? Like, what, he knows Sid and Sid does that? Like, why is that?
He's a regular.
Of bringing in pellet guns?
Just when they say on the news, he's known by police.
Right.
We know a lot of people.
Right.
And it's usually a turnstile of people we arrest and we release. Arrest,
I
release,
see.
catch and release, I call it.
Yeah.
Right? We catch, we put them to court, court releases.
Right.
That's what happens. So you start to get to know, especially if you're in the community for that long, you get to know the people who interact with the police or who we interact with.
Right. And they probably know from being in the system so many times what they can do that's not going to get them held for too long.
He thought it was funny.
Yeah.
What a sick joke.
Not funny. at
Right? Like it's, how long has that been? Since 2008. I don't even know what year it is now. But
I feel like it's 2022. I'm not 100%
sounds good,
sure.
but that's how long that's affected me.
That's
that I'm only
crazy.
now I can process
Yeah.
it and realize that it wasn't my fault. Right?
Well, better late than never.
It is, but there's
sure.
a lot of those things to work through. And that's
Right.
what happens as a police officer, right? 18 years.
Yeah, there's a
And-
lot of shit.
Yeah,
that
and
imagine.
PTSD is so funny because I was one of those people way back then. I was like, hard worker, digger, bring all the calls, working
Yeah.
my ass off as a police officer, helping people because that was my whole
Yeah.
goal in life. Thinking that people who were going off on PTSD, they're just weak, they can't handle it, right? We signed up for this job. This is our job.
Yeah.
Until it hits you and you have no control over it.
Yeah. And piles up.
Yeah,
I
and
love
you
that.
can't, like mine started with pain. And like
Like
bad
physical
pain.
pain?
Yeah, like that one time, I don't remember it. I was walking with a cane for 2 months.
I do not remember.
Yeah. And that was all as a result of the PTSD. There's physically nothing wrong with me, but my central nervous system was so hyper aware and hyper alert that every time it thought I was in danger, it slammed me with pain stimuli to stop me from doing what I was doing. And it still does.
Oh.
Like coming onto shore here,
Yeah.
I'll have troubles. Like you might have to help me get up out of this chair after this.
I can do that.
Oh yeah, I'm not
Do
joking.
that. That's-
Yeah.
So when you say coming onto shore here, so
Oh, yeah.
no, we didn't even get to that point
I
yet.
know, we just kind of meandered there.
Janice lives on a boat.
I do.
This is a newish endeavor.
About a year.
A year now. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you haven't worked in the police force for a year,
Nope.
and you've lived on a boat for a year.
Well, that's the funny part is, and my psychologist is really funny. She's like, Janis, you are doing things to try and manage the PTSD before you were even diagnosed with it and before you knew. So my husband and I, before I became a police officer, met sailing around the world,
Oh, fun.
right? So he was a yacht engineer. I was a first mate. So do you remember, have you ever watched that show Below Decks? It's a reality show where they're following mega yacht crew,
No,
right? And you wear little uniforms and take care of rich people.
that's fun.
Basically, that's how we met.
Oh, cute.
right? So
On the same boat.
in the same room.
In the same room.
I know. We ended up in the same bedroom, and those long ocean passages, they get a little bit boring sometimes.
In the same bedroom.
Oh, yeah, same bedroom.
Oh, wow.
I know. Not the same bed. Well, sometimes.
Yeah,
But, you know.
obviously.
Yes. So that's how we met. So we came back. I became a police officer only because my dad was one and I needed a job.
Okay.
And my brother-in-law, who was my mentor, was one. So,
Yeah.
and then when the PTSD started affecting me and not knowing what was happening, I was like, I need to get back to the water. And so we bought a boat and I moved out there. And I wish I could describe it, but like when I'm on shore, I'm so hyper aware of all my surroundings. Like I'm constantly like looking at faces. Like I'm good where you've seated me now because I can see the door. I
Okay.
couldn't sit where you are right now.
Okay.
I wouldn't be able to concentrate.
Huh.
So there's
Interesting.
like coffee shops. I'll always be back in the corner where my back is in a corner and I can watch everything and
Right.
see everybody.
And no one's behind you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Super hyper aware of everybody, watching hands, faces, who's going to be. I know you.
My hands are moving.
Oh, I've already seen your nails. They look good. No.
Thanks. Even my missing thumb.
Yes.
Did you notice that?
No.
See?
You're hiding it.
I was
That's
hiding
why.
it. Missing a thumb.
Yeah. But it was all of just, who's going to be a danger to me,
Right.
right? Or who am I going to have to deal with, kind of thing. So when I go on the boat, again, I'm at anchor. Like I'm not at a dock. I am out anchored in the
Okay.
middle of a bay.
Like that's where when you
Yeah.
sleep at night, it's not parked.
No.
Okay, you're
So
floating.
I'm floating. So I have to take a wee little dinghy, a little boat
Right. hence
out.
the dinghy.
And I almost want to cry when I step on the boat because it's like a huge,
Really?
just,
It all just
breath.
relaxes.
yeah. Because no one can get me out there. You have to come by boat to get to my boat.
Right.
So-
you're obviously not scared of water.
No. I have a big
So
ass
it's
moat
probably-
around me.
Yeah, it's probably an
Yeah.
opposite response for some people.
I know.
To step onto a boat and be stuck
Well,
out in the middle of nowhere.
It is a big boat. It's 78 feet.
Okay.
We have 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms.
Okay. So it's like a house
It's exactly like a
that
house.
must have blown around last night in the storm.
Oh my gosh,
Quite
should
a
we move? My dog was not happy. She does not like.
Oh,
We do
yeah.
live with a dog on board too. She doesn't like when it's rocking like that.
No,
Yeah.
it was a crazy storm. To
I
be
think
on a
my
boat.
kid just slept through it, the daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's just something we've done. And again, the PTSD has been weird because we met when I was doing ecom.
Yeah.
Well, how do you say it? I love the ecom and I was doing it for beginners, teaching people. I
Yeah.
started doing online courses and stuff like that. But I had no patience anymore for the stupid questions.
Right.
I was losing it all, right? I had,
Stupid questions are annoying.
they just kept the same questions over and over and over again, right? And I just didn't have the patience anymore with the PTSD and what was going on. I had to deal with myself. So I put all that and I just did nothing for about 6 months. I left work because I couldn't do it anymore. I just didn't have the mental capacity. I was forgetting things. I was a mess, Chelsea. I was a friggin' mess.
My goodness, I had no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, so moved on to the boat. But then because I'm not working, you lost my sense of purpose.
Right.
So that 6 months was long.
Because 18 years
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah, my
that's a long
psychologist
time.
says you're not allowed to go back.
Ever?
Nope, not allowed to be a cop anymore. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yikes.
Yeah, so it's like, one day you wake up and things are going weird and 4 months later someone tells you can't be a photographer anymore. It's your identity, right?
I'm going to be one when I'm 80. I'm going to be
Yeah.
the oldest boudoir photographer out there.
There you go. You should do boudoir photography for like people over 80.
In the seniors home, I'll be working it.
Yes.
Making that
Yes,
money.
There you go.
Getting those ladies out
I
in their
know,
lingerie.
those nice big. I keep looking at those old lady bras.
With the nice thick straps for
Yes.
support, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to your boat.
Yes.
So you didn't just move onto a boat and voila, it was a beautiful, nice, lovely boat that you moved onto.
Oh gosh, no.
No. So you, in the last year, like this was a project boat.
Yes. Well, actually got the boat 2 years ago.
Okay.
So my husband and I were looking for an aluminum boat, and we wanted motor. I've done sailboats, and I don't like living on an angle, and I don't like the dark. So one of the things with the mental health is I need the light, big windows, right?
Sailboats don't have light.
A lot of times you're down in the hull,
Okay.
right? And
Yeah.
they're not as light as you think they are.
No. I have
So-
never been on a sailboat.
I know, but usually you're down. So we looked around for like a 50-foot boat.
Okay.
That's what we were thinking. And we found this 78-foot aluminum trawler abandoned basically up in Alaska. So we
Right,
flew up
you
to
did a big
Wrangell.
trip, yeah.
Yeah, we flew up to Wrangell a couple times and looked at. And I'm looking at this and it's all covered in tarp, but covered in mold, black mold throughout. Paint was falling off. And but my husband and I took 2 days and we went through that boat, every cupboard, everything, and eventually looked at each other and went, it's all surface. Like this boat has good bones,
Yeah.
right? But I'm like, I really want a 78-foot boat. They're a lot of work. And
huge.
but we got it really cheap. So we went up there just before the shutdown in March.
Right.
So I flew out 2 days after Christmas 2019. And my husband and I brought this boat down from Alaska in January.
Wow.
And it was an unproven boat. Really, it had been out for a sea trial for half an hour. My husband had driven it. But I'm like, now that we look back, I'm like, and seeing the issue with the engines and stuff we're having now, I'm like, we were really stupid.
Yeah.
But we had faith in our own skills, right? I was the first mate. He's an engineer. It was like, we can figure things out.
You got this.
Yeah. So we took 10 days and cruised down. It was the best trip I've ever had in Alaska. Beautiful.
I am going to pause you there for 1 second, and we will be right back. We're going to take a short break for a word from our sponsor. This episode of Don't Mind If We Do is brought to you by Breakwater Law. They're approachable, practical, and modern. The team at Breakwater Law is not your typical stuffy group of lawyers. You will like them. You might even love them, like I do. Not to be creepy, but they're some of my favorite people. They're friendly, extraordinary people, and while fluent in legalese, they won't speak at you, only to you, and they'll help you feel at ease with all your legal matters. Whether you need a contract written up or a will put together, maybe you're thinking about divorce or you need some help with family, child matters that require a professional to get involved. The lawyers at Breakwater Law are professional and confidential, and their team are there to support you all the way through. Contact Breakwater Law at www.breakwaterlaw.ca and find them down on Fort Street in Victoria, BC. Because let's face it, sometimes there are matters that we can't solve on our own, and we need a kick-ass lawyer to back us up. That's Breakwater Law. And we're back from our little break. Back
love
to your
that.
story.
Who's our sponsor? Who's
Our
your sponsor?
sponsor-
This sounds cool.
It is so cool. And I would never get a sponsor that I didn't fully believe in or back up. And so this was an exciting moment when my lawyer, Jo McFetridge from Breakwater Law, she decided to sponsor Don't Mind If We Do. And so she is our sponsor for this episode.
So after this boat reno, when I divorced my husband, because that's what it's leading us to,
Right,
Can I
she's-
call Joe?
So she got me divorced.
Oh,
Yes, this is how I
nice.
know Joe. Actually, that's not how I actually met Joe at Ewomen as well, at one of the events. So that's how I actually met her. But yes, she has successfully got me divorced. So I can pass on her number.
Because
Not
unless
that
you
you're
have
getting
a-
divorced, though.
Well, unless you have a strong marriage, don't buy a boat.
Don't buy a boat.
No.
I
Don't
feel
buy
like
a
don't
refit
reno.
boat.
Don't reno anything, I think.
No.
No.
No, you better have a strong marriage before you do that. If
Yeah.
not, you'll be calling Joe.
Yeah.
Saying,
If
"I'm
not,
Joe."
call Breakwater Law. It's at
Yes.
breakwaterlaw.ca.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay,
they're
I'll keep
amazing
that in
there.
mind.
They're great.
Thanks,
Wonderful team.
Breakwater. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe, for sponsoring this episode. A special episode with
Yes.
Janis. So back to your...
What were we talking about?
I forget. No, I don't.
Boats.
We're talking about your boat story. So 2019,
Yes.
you made a crazy trip without really knowing if it would make
No.
it. And how long of a boat ride is that?
It took 10 days.
Oh, my
Yeah, we made it back in
word.
time for my daughter's 13th birthday. It wasn't like 10 days going straight.
Okay.
We stopped at nights.
Okay. So 10
Right.
actual days
Yeah, of cruising.
in a black mold boat.
Yes. No, well, actually, I hired someone just to spray the whole boat down with vinegar. So basically, it was a diesel vinegar smelling boat.
I feel
Vinegar
like vinegar
kills
does
black
not
mold.
kill black mold.
Oh, it does.
Enough.
Not enough.
No.
But,
I don't think it
oh, and no heat. It's friggin' cold.
because you don't want the mold to...
Well, there's no
Grow,
heat in the
right?
boat. Boat
Oh,
had no
there's no
heat,
heat.
at
Oh,
that
my
moment.
word.
Yes, no, it was.
And in the winter, so it was January.
Yes, Blaine and I thought we were a little bit crazy, but we made it down. It was
Yes.
beautiful, and we've done lots of renovations, and
How are your lungs from the black mold?
I don't know. How's my voice? Is this my one?
It's better than my voice. Yeah, my voice is not really there. So maybe it's my black mold voice.
There you
I
go.
don't know.
But no, it was good, and we
Crazy.
moved on board. And then
Right away. Like you parked it and then you moved on.
no, I had to stay in the house for a little bit because it wasn't livable. But that heat thing,
Yeah,
we had to
right.
get the heat on
Heat's important.
and power.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's the key with the boat. Like you can live off grid,
Yeah.
but you need heat, power, and water.
Right.
So, ironically, you say water, but well, fresh water.
Totally.
Right,
Yeah, salt
so-
water is a bit different.
Yeah, once we sorted that stuff out, then it was no problem. And I actually moved on board before the rest of my family because I knew I needed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been on board for almost a year.
Amazing.
Daughter came on next. So she is 15 now. And then son and husband came on board.
Boys waited till the end.
The 19-year-old boy really waited till the end.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So, but then I was like, okay, mommy's lonely and I really need you on board. So I gave him the guilt trip.
Nice.
And he's like, okay, will you
Uh-huh.
feed me? I'm like, yes. So he
Perfect.
moved on board.
Nice. And
Yeah.
so it's 5 bedrooms.
It is.
So they all
4
have-
now. We ripped one apart and made it a big ass closet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So they all have their own bedrooms.
Mhm.
And like, what is the size of a bedroom on a boat?
Oh, I'm horrible at measurements.
Like
They
this
fit
room.
each fit 2 single beds. So
Okay.
it's about, I'm looking here.
I don't need numbers because that means nothing to me.
I know, see, it
Yeah.
means nothing to me too.
No, but 2 twin bed or 2 single beds, I could picture that.
Yeah. So,
That's
and then ours
decent.
has a queen in
Nice.
it.
And can you
So-
stand up? Like, is
Yeah,
the
it's
ceiling
about,
is tall enough?
6'4" probably ceilings.
Amazing.
And then the upstairs is the big main salon and the galley, which is the kitchen.
yeah,
And we opened all that up and put in a full kitchen. Like I've got a full fridge, stove, microwave.
it's amazing.
It's just like a kitchen. People walk in, I'm like, it's a house. I'm like, yep, I just float. And we can take it places.
I will
Yeah.
accept the invitation
Yeah.
to join you on your boat for wine sometime.
Oh,
Thank
definitely.
you.
Are you inviting yourself?
I am fully. No, I was accepting your invitation that hadn't come yet.
Well, you know, it's prawn season too.
I do like prawns.
And I do like catching them.
Ooh, I've never.
But you know what
done
you
that.
could do?
That's sad to me.
So what I did, so remember we talked about Janis had no purpose.
Right.
And it sucks to go through life without a purpose, people.
It does.
Right? You're
Yeah.
just kind of floating going.
Or to know your purpose, because everyone has a purpose. It just sucks to not know it.
No, to float.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of felt like that. The feather in Forrest Gump,
The feather.
the feather that floats. Was it a feather as he's sitting on the bench?
Maybe.
I was like, yeah, you'd have to watch Forrest Gump
I
again.
just think of the box of chocolates.
I know.
Yeah. Like, was there a feather in
Yeah.
that chocolate box? I don't know.
But what I did is I was out for tea with Sharon Rose
Oh, I
McNeil.
love Sharon Rose.
And when
Yes.
she does honor sales.
Yes.
So she teach people how to sell stuff. She's
She
very
is
good
my
at
sales
it.
coach.
Yeah,
Highly
she's
recommend.
very good. Hi, Sharon.
Actually, I have her as my sales coach because of you. I
Oh,
think.
she's
Was it
lovely.
You or Jane, both
Yeah.
of you. Yeah,
So we were out for tea, catching
Nice.
up. And she's a boater also.
she is. Yes.
And she mentioned the sailing YouTube channel to me, Sailing La Vagabond. I'm like, what? People do YouTube channels? I started watching it and got sucked right into it. I'm like, and then I started doing research. I'm like, okay, there's a lot of sailing YouTube channels out here, but where's the motorboat ones? I live on a motorboat. So I started a YouTube channel.
She did. Janis is a
Yeah.
YouTuber. I am sitting with a famous YouTuber.
That's all we do. Yeah, so I guess I would call myself a YouTuber. Yeah,
You
we
are,
put
yeah.
out 3 videos a week.
My 7-year-old wants to be a YouTuber when he grows up.
It's quite fun. It's
I'm
a lot
gonna
of
tell
work.
him that I had a YouTuber here today, and
Yes.
he'll be very jealous.
I think we're coming up to 3,500 subscribers.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and to make money as YouTube, we started Patreon. Have you ever heard of
Okay,
Patreon?
Yeah, I have. Someone suggested it for this podcast, actually.
Yes. So I have a Patreon page, and
Okay.
people sponsor us per video
Okay.
and sponsor our refit.
Like they just pick a video and sponsor it? Or
No, they pay us per video we put out.
per video.
Yeah. So I've got anywhere from, you can do minimum $5 a video, max, and I only ever charge for 4 videos a month,
Nice.
right? And then they get little swag stuff. So if you do $5, we give, you get a custom thank you. Hey, thank you so much for joining our community from Blaine and I. And
Right.
we have Tangaroa koozies for beer and stuff.
Nice.
We have a private website that only Patreons have access to,
Ooh.
where we have our podcast and some other stuff
Ooh,
on
a
there.
private podcast?
Private podcast.
What?
Yeah. So we did all that. And right up until if people sponsor us $200 a video, we actually put their name on our boat.
On the boat.
on the hull. We call it the Hull of Honor.
What?
I know we
That's
haven't got
amazing.
that yet because we just started this, but
I want it.
Hull of Honor.
Don't mind if we do. It's got to
I
be on
know.
your boat.
And sometimes, see, I'm cruising around the world. Don't mind if we do. And sometimes we have like, as $100 a video, we do a trinket teaser, like in our YouTube video. You choose what trinket we put behind us, and somewhere in
What's
the
a
YouTube
trinket?
video, anything, like from a rubber duck to
Okay.
maybe not a vibrator or anything like that.
What
That
about
might
like
be.
a Swarovski crystal sparkly thing?
I know it'll be behind us somewhere in the video. It's going to come out a couple times, and only you know where you see it. You'll be like, oh, there it is, because it'll be on the boat.
That's fun.
Yeah, stuff like that. And we have hoodies and T-shirts, and we do prizes. So you do goals with Patreon. Is like whenever we get 10 patrons, we do a draw. So all those 10 patrons go in. When we hit 20 patrons are in the draw. 30 patrons,
Okay.
and we draw and we give out gifts and stuff. Yeah, it's fun. It's a
Sounds-
community you build.
Yeah. It sounds like a lot of work, but a fun.
You could do it. Well, YouTube in general is like podcasting, right? It's
Yeah.
a lot of work.
Yeah.
People think you just go out there and, but we
But it's
video
like-
our whole life.
Anything. Like my work is work, a lot of work,
Mm-hmm.
but fun, obviously. But then I also have my Facebook community group
Yep.
that I feel like is more work than my actual work because you are doing it 24/7. You're growing it, you're building it. So it's the same thing. Sounds like Patreon. Like that's where you
Yes.
would put in a lot of work
Yes.
because you have to do all the things that you're.
And you have to treat your
Promising
Patreons
and-
like gold because
Exactly.
they're paying you.
Yeah.
That's your cash, right?
But I'm serious. Don't mind if we do on your boat. So we're in for $200
per video?
for one video.
Oh.
How many videos do you
that's
have to
not-
do?
It's
That's not how it
$200 per
works.
video.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
How do you get your name on the boat?
I don't know.
I want it on
$200 per video.
But how many videos?
4 videos a month.
Forever.
Yeah?
Yeah. I take it back. I'll edit that out.
We'll chat about this.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, after.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll just accept my invitation to the boat.
Yes, for prawns and wine.
Amazing. I will bring the
That's
wine.
where we are.
Good.
Sometimes we invite our patrons and have Patreon get-togethers.
And so do you have lots?
No, we're just starting.
Just starting.
Yeah. We've got 2.
Okay. So how can somebody do it if they want to check it out?
You
Like,
can
where do
go
they
to
go?
our YouTube channel, On Board Tangaroa, and you can watch the videos.
How do you spell that?
On Board
No, the next one.
Tangaroa.
Yeah. What is that?
O-N... You're going to link it down?
I'll link
down
all
below?
your links. Yeah. All your links will be in here.
Tangaroa, Tangaroa.
Oh, is that the name of your boat?
It is. He's
Okay.
actually the king of the sea in New Zealand and stuff like that.
Oh.
I know.
He sounds sexy.
I have a statue of Tangaroa, and he's a tripod, if you know what I mean. Seriously, a wooden statue,
Okay.
because he's also the god of fertility.
So he doesn't. It's not a tail that's holding him up.
It
or
ain't
that
a tail.
tripod. Got it.
No. And sometimes you'll see it in the videos and be like, what does Janis have in behind her? Tripod. Big wooden
Amazing.
statue tripod.
Tangaroa.
Tangaroa.
Amazing.
Yeah. See, I have it on my toque right now. That's her logo.
Okay, it's not. I'm like, there's no penis there. I can't see it.
No penis on the
That's
toque.
not the Tangaroa.
No tripod. No,
Okay. That logo is amazing. I like it.
It's our tattoo.
Very cool.
I actually have this tattoo coming out of my ass. Sunshine.
Coming
really low.
out of your ass,
It's very
Like-
low. It's not even tramp stamp. It is lower than a tramp stamp. So our
like coming above your ass. Then, like it's not coming out of your ass. It's like above.
yes, the tattoo is above.
Yeah.
But my husband has it too. We got it before we ever got married.
Aw.
I know.
And now look at it. It's right on your
now
head.
it's our logo. Is that crazy?
Smack in the middle of your forehead.
Yes.
I love it.
So
Huh.
I know.
So you went from being a police officer.
Still am technically.
You are, for
Yeah,
sure.
I know.
Well, first you went from a boater,
Sailing around the world.
sailing around the world, police officer. Added in some e-commerce stuff, which you did very well at.
It was fun.
Like you were good
Yeah.
at that. That
and I
was
sold
a good
courses
thing.
on how to sell on Amazon until everything went off the rails.
Until everything went to
PTSD.
shit, and now you're back to living on a boat.
Yes.
Like you kind of did a circle.
Yes.
a
And I
full
don't like
circle.
leaving my boat. You're very lucky I'm off my boat
I
right
feel
now.
really, really lucky.
I know. I don't usually
that
come
you're
off.
here. We could have sat in the bath and done this, but might not have
My
fit.
psychologist says I need to come off a bit more,
Okay,
but I like the boat because it moves too. So like this past weekend we went cruising, right? So I
which
just
is
dropped the mooring
amazing.
lines and
and
went
just go.
to islands, right?
That sounds fun.
Yeah, and I love islands where there's nobody.
Do you want me to rock this table?
I
Would it
know.
make you
I don't
feel
rock
better?
that much. It's no.
I guess in
So-
a bigger boat, it's more like a ferry.
Yeah, the only
Kind
thing
of.
rocking me right now is prawn season open, and the prawn fishermen are flying by me, and they make really big waves, even though they don't realize it. You're only supposed to go 5 miles per hour where we are.
And they don't.
No. No.
So you do not sell unicorn straws anymore?
Well, I have
do.
stock.
Okay.
So I am going to go back to the markets, and I think my daughter's going to do it on Thursday nights.
Nice.
She is the unicorn. She is the inspiration for them.
She is? Amazing.
So I think
pretty.
Thursday evenings in Sydney, she'll blow them all out, and we will,
Yeah.
$5 a package. We'll just blow everything out.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Go to the Sydney market because these straws were very great. I have bought some and then I've left them also in the restaurants where I've used them. So buy a few at $5 a pop. You should just stock up because you definitely leave them behind.
Yep. And you can No Straw Challenge. Yeah, that was on Amazon. They're still selling on Amazon.
Oh, they do.
And then No Trace Bags. We have a few selling on Amazon,
Right,
but
for your
that's almost
stinky marijuana.
out. Stinky marijuana. So
Have it
that's
to be
almost
no
done.
stink.
And then, now I'm just YouTube.
And now you're a YouTuber.
Yeah, and sell swag and Patreon, which is kind of fun.
Yeah. So the Patreon is that if they go to your YouTube channel, that's where they'll find that information.
Oh, yes.
I wonder
Yep.
if that's what I do. I have a friend whose husband is a YouTuber.
Yep.
And a few years back, he came out with something to all the people that watched and said, like, hey, can you donate per month?
Yep.
And so I donate literally $1 every month. It was like the lowest one that you could do. Like, okay.
Yep.
Not that I'm an asshole, but, you know,
A bit of
if you
support.
have 500,000 followers that do $1, that's pretty good money
It
a
is.
month.
Well, Patreon is it's to help creators. So creators can still create. It's like with your podcast, right? You can be a Patreon and support people's podcasts
Right.
and support their creativity. So instead of going like with our YouTube is like a reality show because we record our vlog life on a boat, right?
Yeah.
Like between our screw ups and what we do and where we go and where we travel and hiking.
Yeah, it sounds
Right?
amazing.
It's a reality show. So instead of going to the movies and spending movies these days, $40 after popcorn and everything like
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
You support your local YouTubers or any YouTuber that you like, and you're paying them for your entertainment.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
yeah. And our YouTube videos, they average about 20 minutes a video, right? After you do all the editing and put it together. It takes me about 5 hours, 6 hours per video. And that's what you're sponsoring. And then
Yeah.
you feel part of it because we actually
Totally.
talk about our Patrons in our videos and thank
Nice.
them. And yeah,
Yeah, because they're a part of it.
I know we have one Patreon right now. So we did a video. We tend to lose our dinghy sometimes. Like it comes off the boat and floats away. Right?
my.
So our one Patreon, he's up in Alaska. He's actually sending us Apple AirTags to attach to our
Oh
dinghies.
my goodness, so you can find them? That's
Yes.
amazing.
Isn't it brilliant?
That is
I
good.
love him for that. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. So when they
That's
come, I'll
funny.
do a shout out and show them the Apple AirTags. But they feel like they become part of your
funny.
life.
Yeah.
They sponsor you because they like your personality.
Right.
So
Because
like-
they're a part of it. They're-
Exactly. So this podcast would be kind of the same way, right? They're
Does
watching.
anyone out there like my personality?
I do.
Would you sponsor it?
I know. But
$1 a month?
they're also watching you grow in your podcast,
Right.
right? Like your first podcast was probably crap.
It was amazing, by the way.
Was it?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
100%.
But it starts to grow. Your podcasts are getting better, aren't they? God, I
don't
hope
know.
so.
I did lose Robin, so they
Oh.
might be getting worse now. I'm not too
Robin, where are
sure.
you?
No.
Have I told you how I know Robin?
No. I don't think so.
So Robin was doing a radio when she was doing radio, right? Mm-hmm. And my sister calls in. She was doing, what is the worst Valentine's Day? What is the worst Valentine's Day gift you have ever received?
Oh.
Okay. So my sister calls in and she was married to, or dating Mike at the time. Mike's passed away since then and Robin knows him.
Yeah.
Right? They actually became really good friends. But this is before Robin met Mike through Tour de Rock.
Right.
So my sister calls in. She's like, I got the worst Valentine's Day gift for you ever. Right? My husband at the time when we were dating, gave me, let me remember, it was a case of Stag chili
Oh, my.
because he had to get it at the gas station.
I can think of other things from a gas station.
There was a bunch of stuff. It was stupid stuff. And my sister was totally making fun of it. So when Robin and Mike finally met, Robin is like, oh my gosh, you're the Stag chili guy. Right.
Was it a joke that he was buying that for?
No.
Just Like
Not at
whatever-
all.
Whatever he could find. Does she like steak chili?
No.
Okay, good.
But he felt like he had to get her something. And this is what he found at the gas station. Who knows what goes through guys' minds?
Like there is so many delicious candy
know.
and chips.
Stag chili.
But stag chili.
So if Robin's listening to this, she's going to laugh because she's like, oh, I totally remember the stag chili story. And she probably tells it a lot better than me.
I feel like you told it pretty good.
But then they met in Turtle Rock because Robin was such a supporter of Turtle Rock. I miss her for that.
She did it.
Yep, she
few
did ride.
times, I think.
Yep,
Yeah.
and that's how I met her. I rode to Turtle Rock in 2016.
Amazing.
I hate bike riding.
It's the worst.
I know.
I don't know if I
seriously.
even know how to.
I have not been on a bike since. So Turtle Rock is Cops. It's also called Cops for Cancer. We ride the whole length of Vancouver Island, which is about 1,000 kilometers, and we raise money to send kids with cancer to camp because it's almost like a cure, not a cure for them, but
Yeah.
it gives them that moment where they can just be
Totally.
kids.
Yeah,
And the doctors actually say the kids respond so well that
I bet.
they actually get a lot better from going to camp for a week.
Uh-uh.
So we rode the 1,000 kilometers. And seriously, when I got off that bike, I have
you
not
have
been on a
legs?
bike since.
I bet.
Yeah. But
Do your legs just collapse and be jello?
at one time, doing the ride to Tofino from Port Alberni, that was a brutal ride.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's a brutal drive.
Yeah.
Never mind bike ride.
I know, bike it. But the thing with the Tour de Rock is it wasn't even the biking, which I hate. It was the emotional stories of the families and going through with their, like I couldn't even imagine Izzy or Josh having cancer. I don't even know.
Horrible.
Right? So these families are just looking at you as a beacon of hope and you're
Right.
giving them everything you've got emotional wise.
Yeah.
So at the end, I was exhausted. I actually took my family and we went to Costa Rica for a month.
Oh my goodness.
And you got to remember, I was bald at the time too because I shaved my head during this ride.
Oh, wow.
And I burnt my head
Oh,
in Costa Rica. But I just needed a month off. I was so emotionally exhausted from it.
It's a lot.
But we raised 1.3 million.
That's insane.
Yeah. It was
That's awesome.
good. Sent a lot of kids
And
to
a
camp.
bunch of kids got to go to camp.
Yeah. And Robin did the same thing when she rode.
Was it a different year?
Yeah, she rode a different year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I know.
Look at you.
I know.
You're just amazing.
What else are we going to talk about?
I think we should wrap it up.
You think?
Yeah.
Did we tell enough?
I think we did good.
Yeah. I know if
Like, you can
anybody's
always
out
come
there,
back.
if any first responders are out there hearing this and
Yeah.
you may not even be diagnosed with PTSD, but you just know something's wrong,
Yeah.
right? You're snapping at your kids, you're tired,
Forgetting things.
you're
you
forgetting
said?
things,
Yeah.
pain. You go home and your partner says, "Hey, what do you want for dinner?" And you just cry because you can't even register it. You don't have the mental capacity.
Yeah.
Check out Wounded Warriors. It's free.
Yeah.
And it's really helped me. Like, I can't say enough about Wounded Warriors. And
And it's in
actually,
Victoria, obviously.
yeah. Well, no,
Or
they'll
everywhere.
fly everybody from Canada out here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So, and this isn't just cops. This is like search and rescue, fire,
Paramedic.
police, paramedics,
Yeah.
911 dispatchers, right? Veterans, military, anything,
Awesome.
nurses. Like, it's all first responders, Wounded Warriors will take care of you, and just deal with it. Because
It's important.
my husband looks at me now after going through this and not working anymore, and he's like, I have my happy Janis back.
Aw,
Yeah. So it's been
that's huge.
yeah, and it's a long journey. I'm not better.
Yeah.
I journey through it every day. Like,
Yeah.
again, this was a big step today coming off my boat.
I'm glad I put you in the corner and not back here.
Yeah. So, yeah, go out, get the help. Don't
Yeah.
be embarrassed to say that you have PTSD because, again, there's that stigma attached. I
Yeah.
have no qualms talking about it now.
I think probably more people have it than they think.
Yep.
It's very common. Doesn't even have to come just from
Nope.
first responding jobs. Like you can get it from shitty relationships,
Yep.
shitty people. Lots of people
Heck,
probably
just a
deal
car
with it.
crash or something like that.
Totally.
Just
Seeing a
something
car
quick,
crash,
traumatic event that happened.
Losing somebody. Like
Yeah.
there's so many reasons that
Yeah.
you can have it and not know why you're feeling the way you're feeling.
Exactly.
So
but there's help out
It's
there.
important.
Go get it.
Totally.
Yeah. And then check
And
out
then
our
go
YouTube
move
channel.
on a boat.
Check out our YouTube channel.
And check out the YouTube
Yeah,
channel.
subscribe.
Say it again.
Watch
What's the
our
name of
reality
it?
show.
On a boat?
YouTube.com/onboard Tangaroa.
On board Tangaroa. But of
Yeah.
course, the comments are in the comments. I'll put all her links and all the places you can go to pay $200 to get your name on her boat. Apparently not just once though. Like that's going to cost you a bit more, but worth
That's
it.
Patreon.
That's worth it.
It doesn't have to be. That's our highest tier.
I know.
Yes.
But who doesn't want their name on your boat?
I know.
I do.
It'd be fun.
It would be fun.
In the Hall of Honor.
Don't mind if we do get in the Hall of Armor.
Armor. Anyways, Chelsea, this is awesome. Thank you.
Hall of Honor.
Hello.
I haven't even been
Thank
drinking.
you so much.
Thank you
This
so
has been
much.
a blast.
Hey, thank you for getting off
Yeah.
your boat.
I know.
And also, thank you for the invite to come on your boat. I appreciate it.
Prawns and wine now, people.
Great.
Prawns and wine.
and wine. You guys all heard it.
And if you want to meet Chelsea,
yeah,
you should
I'll
come
be on the
also.
boat. I'll be on the boat having prawns and wine.
We could have a whole cocktail party for your
That'd be
listeners
very
too.
fun.
We'll have to think about that.
I don't mind if we do party.
Yeah.
Don't mind if we don't. It's just me and you. I'll bring the wine. Okay, thank you again, Janis. This was great, and we'll have to have you again another time. And thanks everyone for listening. If you love this episode, feel free to share it with a friend. Tag us in it. Let us know what you think. Let Janis know what you thought of it. Go follow her YouTube channel, and we'll see you next week. Thanks so much for listening to Don't Mind If We Do. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you next week.